even if everything over in Europe gets to some sort of resolution, Europe's credit problems are expected to shave more than 1 percentage point from U.S. growth next year, 2012. Weaker export growth, tighter financial conditions, reduced availability of credit, all that is going to constrain the U.S. economy next year. Europe is expected to slip into recession as global growth slows, and that is a best-case scenario. That is if everything gets handled smoothly. Today, Fed Chairman Bernanke went before Congress to testify before the Joint Economic Committee. Bernanke warned the U.S. economic recovery was close to faltering. So we may or may not see that best-case scenario. But Bernanke said it was a shared responsibility for all Washington policymakers and not solely up to the central bank to respond. Bernanke wants Congress and the White House to do a better job with fiscal policy, to shrink the federal budget deficit over the long run, but he doesn't want cutting too aggressively right away. That is not the answer, he says. Bernanke wants lawmakers to find tax and spending policies that encourage long-term growth and to fix a budget process that leads to, all that dysfunction about the government debt that unsettled the markets in August. Bernanke went further, saying Congress needed to find new ways to jumpstart the housing sector, promote trade, and improve an overly complex tax code. He said fostering healthy growth and job creation is a shared responsibility of all economic policymakers in close cooperation with the private sector. Went on to say that while fiscal policy is critical, a wide range of other policies pertaining to labor markets, housing, trade, taxation, and regulation, for example, also have important roles to play. He really expects that from Congress? Part of what I think Bernanke was saying is, I got nothing. We're out of bullets. Got no more tools in the tool belt. Not really. Because, of course, the Fed still has some ammo. They could start another round of bond purchases, quantitative easing part 3. But Bernanke said he has no immediate plans for that. I would say that the main reason we haven't seen QE3 is because the Fed realizes it might need to respond to a European meltdown. Bernanke did say that Americans were innocent bystanders to Europe's problems. Well, not so much, not really. Some of the American banks had a real hand in Europe's problems. He said if there is another financial crisis, Bernanke said the Fed would try to keep markets stable by providing abundant short-term credit to banks that need it and also make dollars available to other central banks, as it has been doing since the 2008 crisis. But he said there wasn't anything the Fed could do to fix Europe's problems. Yeah, without full monetization and an explicit backstop or defaults, now claiming the Franco-Belgian bank Dexia, it's going to continue, and it's going to continue to get worse. And frankly, there aren't any palatable solutions. The Europeans need to pick one, full monetization or default and recapitalization, and then they need to see it through. That's what they're headed for. But really, nothing the Fed can do. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to throw money at Europe, but it's probably not going to fix the problems. That part's true. But they are going to do something. They're going to throw money at Europe. We are slowly but surely working our way to what might happen. Very simply, we're going to get the Fed jumping on the liquidity train. Helicopter Ben is going to fly his chopper over to Euroland, and he's going to start throwing dollar bills out of the helicopter as it hovers over the French, German, Italian, and English banks. So the setup is essentially the same as the post-Lehman drop, and that's why we saw intervention, a serious short squeeze today. The way to play the post-Lehman drop is to short the market, and the only way to stop the shorts is to squeeze quick and tight. That's what we saw today. So, what's the right play? Short. but short aggressively with tight stops. If you get stopped out, get back in. Also be aware that there will be a huge injection of liquidity, meaning the bull market of the past decade, gold, remains very much in a long-term bull market.